Here's your guide to an aggressive cut, and before you jump into one, please listen to this video because it might not be for you. So, aggressive cut phase, why would we use one and what is it? So first off, what is it? We're looking at aggressive deficit for 2 to 6 weeks, normally around 1.5% body weight loss per week on average. All right, it's what we're looking for. And it's a very short period of time, but we're looking for that to be sort of 0.5 to 1%. As a normal cut would mean we're in like maybe a 400 to 600 calorie deficit. But if we're going for an aggressive cut, it's going to be more around the 700 to 1200, maybe slightly upwards for those who are really good at sticking to things. But 700 calorie deficit to maybe 1200 calorie deficit for a very short period of time. Should you use it? Well, if you're someone who has had previous problems with eating, binge eating disorders and other problems, maybe it's not for you. You can obviously do things, you're an adult, you do what the fuck you want, but I wouldn't recommend doing it. Okay. However, if you're someone who also building a bit of momentum, actually keeps you going forward, then maybe this could be for you. Maybe you're someone who has serious health issues and needs to get weight off very quick. That's also another option. Or you're someone who's been bulking for a long time and we need to resensitize you so you get a bit more hunger again. You obviously help with your insulin sensitivity, and that will obviously help with nutrient partitioning. So obviously allow you to use the nutrients for maximizing your muscle growth. Okay. So if that is you, this could be something and it could be worth using. But if you're someone who just starves yourself, probably not the best thing to do because you're going to be losing muscle mass on the way down if you don't. You can maintain your muscle mass and do very well in this if you do it the right way. Obviously, if you know how to train, you know how to train intensely, and you follow some of these other rules that we have here. So that brings me on to the rules. So how do we execute it? So first off, we're looking at protein for 1 gram per pound of lean body mass. Okay. So if you're weighing about 200 pounds and you got about 25% body fat on you, then rough guesstimate, you can obviously take off 25% and that would be your target that you're aiming for. When it comes to males and females, we'll then look at their fats, and we're going to be a bit risky on this, but I don't want you going much lower, any lower than this. And if you're getting any problems with things like sleep and energy just dips out of nowhere, or something's wrong, hormonally you just feel off, then maybe you need to pull yourself out of this. But normally for males, we can get away with about 30 to 35 grams of fats a day. And with females, we're looking at getting away with 40 to 45 grams of fats per day, making sure you're getting some good healthy fats in your actual diet. And the reason we do this is then we want the rest for carbs for performance. So that's going to allow us to keep carbs as high as possible. You're going to enjoy your pumps in the gym. Still, you're going to still feel relatively good in terms of strength and performance. And it helps minimize that psychological sort of slump that a lot of people get when they're in the deficit. Once we then obviously understand that, we can then look at what can we do to make things a little bit better. We can look at pre and post workout nutrition. So pre-workout nutrition, 40 to 60 minutes before I train, I like to get anywhere between 0.5 to 1 gram per kilogram of lean body mass. So say I was 130 kilograms, I'm not 130 kilos lean, then I'd be aiming for maybe 110 or 100 grams of carbs pre-workout, okay? That'll be about 45 to 60 minutes before, depending on digestion. We're looking for fast-acting carbs, white breads, white rice. So you can do things like bagels, etc. You can even do the typical Rice Krispie square bar. I normally like to have that mixed with some form of fruit. So a direct carb source and some form of fruit. All right, and we're having that pre-work, and then post-workout, it'd be something as simple as doing that again, but you might have just a basic bodybuilding cereal. You might even have some form of yogurt with some form of fruit in there to bring up the carbs there, maybe some honey, etc. We can go down that route to help replenish your glycogen. Other rules are that we're looking to hydrate as well as we possibly can. All right, so you need to make sure hydration is good anyway, but you need to really be on top of it during this stage. And then we need to make sure that we're getting enough veg and fruit throughout the day, because that's going to help curb your hunger, and also meal timings, eating similar times of the day. Each person's slightly different. You might prefer to have a breakfast at a certain time and so on. Find out what works for you and then keep it similar each day, and maybe keep the food similar so you can just adhere to this a lot better through the extreme fat loss phase. It is aggressive, it is hard, it isn't for everyone. And it is something you can try. And if you do notice, for example, you go from 200 pounds, right, and it keeps going down, it goes to 196, and then you're getting 195, and on the way down, everything's dropping nicely. But as you're getting to a certain point, you notice bad night's sleep here. Okay, it went off, not so bad. Then it's a bad night's sleep here, then it's another one. And within that week, you've had a couple of bad nights sleep, no matter what you're doing. It's time to pull yourself out of it, or at least up your fat intake, because hormonally you could be affecting yourself. So you do need to be careful. This isn't something we like to hang around and do for a long period of time. And everything you do here is at your own risk. So if you do want help with something like this and you want to give it a go, you might even be one of my clients watching this right now, then obviously reach out to me. If you are someone who's on YouTube watching this right now and you want a coach who can help you, yes, of course I can help you, but I might also tell you that it's not for you. I'm not going to make you just do it because I can get a great result. I got plenty of great results. I don't need to keep showing them off. I would rather teach people to do things properly and as safely as we can. And this is risky, but it can be a great option to get in and out of a cut. Hopefully that helps.